I'm your host, Carolyn Solo, LCSW, EMDR therapist, and mom of 3 daughters. Thank you for joining me. Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 65 of the Future Template Parent Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Carolyn Solo, PhD, LCSW, EMDR consultant, and mom of 3 daughters. So today I'm actually playing for you like a, maybe 15-minute clip from the first video module of the program that I have just launched that actually started this week. The first day was September 3rd. And so this is dropping. This podcast episode is coming out the 4th. So you still can join the group if you'd like. There are an amazing group of therapists in it, all learning about how to optimize their intensives practice. But just to give you a little taste of that, I thought I would play part of this lesson for you. So I'm kind of starting in the middle, but the topic is basically like, what is your why? How do you think about your why for wanting to implement intensives in your practice, and how to use that to kind of motivate you to keep going with putting intensives into practice when you might be feeling a little bit discouraged. So I hope you enjoy, and please reach out to me at Future Template Parent on Instagram if you're interested in the group. We would love to have you join, and please, give me any questions. You may have noticed. Ask me any questions. You probably know this if you've listened to my podcast or ever talked to me. Hope you enjoy this little insight into what it's like on the side of being informal. EMDR Intensive, we all have a lot going on. 12-week intensive, which is the clever name for my group. However we show up. Take care, everybody. And that's good enough. So, sometimes my video lessons might not be the most polished thing in the world, but I think the information is good. So that's circle. The other things to know are that we have a Slack channel that you can use to ask questions directly to me. I would prefer that you use the message board for questions that are more for the group. I will be looking there too, and so I'll also answer them. But the Slack channel is really for one-to-one questions for me. Like if you can't wait on something, or you have a question that feels difficult to ask to the whole group, or most importantly, maybe, or what it'll be used for most, if you want to share anything for me to look at and edit. Anything you want me to look at during the course of the group, I'm happy to edit, provide feedback on. And that would be something we talk about in Slack. You could share a Google document or whatever. So, but we'll just see how it evolves. This is the first time I'm doing this. So, I'm still feeling out the systems that work best. So, okay, so that's kind of the format. But in this module or this lesson, we're going to talk about why you are transitioning to intensives. What are some of the common reasons? And then in the next lesson, it will be about my reasons, my why. And then we're going to talk in the next lesson about mindset. And the final lesson in this module will be introducing the assignments for you to work on. And those assignments, the workbook exercises, are intended to help you implement the lessons, right? To get the absolute most out of this course, you need to prioritize the work, okay? Many of you know that I am a professor. I have taught high school. I also teach, I teach graduate students. And so I know what tends to work for learning, and, what tends to work is a combination of teaching, like the module, like the videos, assignments to force you to think and kind of process the information and start doing something with it, and then accountability to help you implement. And that's why there's the class, the 2-hour group call, so we can actually really work through stuff together. And so you're not just wandering in the wilderness, wondering what I meant by a certain question, or did you do it right, or whatever. Those are really the 3 key pieces that all together provide the best learning, which is why I wanted to implement all of them. And of course, one-to-one on Slack is kind of extra help. I mean, don't think of it that way, but it's a way to get one-on-one, like if you would go in to talk to a teacher about something. So I very intentionally created the structure to have all those pieces. And you got to do the work, right? You need to show up for yourself and show up for the other people in the group, because you guys are going to contribute to a learning environment together. And ideally, you'll do the assignments, or at least start them prior to the group call. So our first group call is Tuesday, September 10th from 11 to 1 Eastern time. And so ideally, by then you'll have watched the video, the module for that, the video lessons for that module, and you'll have at least started working on the homework assignment. So we have stuff to talk about. We're also going to do things like, we're going to set goals together in each of these group calls. So here's what I'm working on now. Here's what I'm going to be working on over the next week. We're going to use the circle board to kind of check in with everyone about how those goals are going, keep each other accountable. So, there are many moving parts, but I put them all in there because I think the combination of them is super powerful. And that's why I'm excited about this being a group. You guys spent a lot of money on this. Show up for yourself, show up for your investment. If you really put in the work, I promise you will see a transformation. That's what I tell my intensive clients too. If you put in the work, if you show up, if we follow the treatment plan that we've created together, something will happen. I can't necessarily guarantee exactly what, but there will be movement. There'll be movement in your practice. There's movement for clients. So kind of a parallel process there. And speaking of parallel process, like I said, I have just moved to Vermont. I'm rebuilding my practice here, right? I have a few virtual one-to-one clients that I have kept who are, for a variety of reasons, for continuity of care, for their, presenting issues, I've decided to keep them and still see them one-to-one virtually. But other than that, I'm rebuilding my intensive practice from scratch. So I'm also going to be setting goals along with you. I'm also going to be talking about the challenges and wins that I have. So that'll be a fun kind of process to all be in together. Okay, so what are some of the common whys for wanting to offer intensives in your practice, just to sort of get your wheels turning? Number one, clients need them. Clients want to feel better, and they want to feel better faster. We all know that, right? We want that when we're in therapy. And intensive is the best way to do this. And I have moved away from the Philadelphia area, so I will no longer be working with her. But for over 2 years, I've been seeing my own EMDR intensive therapist. I would have a 4-hour intensive with her once a month, and then a 1-hour in person, and then a 1-hour virtual session kind of in the middle of the month, more if necessary, but that was usually how we did it. And I saw huge transformational change. I encourage you to seek out your own intensive just so you can experience it too. So yeah, an intensive is the best way to achieve really big change quickly, okay? Why is this? Clients have time to settle into the work, right? They feel really seen because of all this time. They feel really important, right? They're not looking at other clients in the waiting room, wondering if your head is somewhere else instead of on what they're bringing to you, right? Some people take a long time to settle into their bodies, to have their nervous system settle. Some people need to kind of blah, 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 to sort of get, I do, obviously I'm a talker, to get to that place, right? That's one thing that time provides. There's no time pressure, okay? Clients also need them because there's no problem of the week stuff that keeps the results from happening as fast as they could, right? I'm sure any of you who've listened to the podcast have heard me say that Francine Shapiro designed EMDR to be in 90-minute sessions. It was not the 45-minute session that insurance wants us to bill, right? She didn't see that as sufficient. So, 90 minutes is great. Why not longer? And there's all sorts of research that backs up that even longer sessions are really helpful. I think with the model that I use for intensives, which is 3 5-hour days, so 15 hours over 1 to 2 weeks, I usually try for. And it might be, and this is totally fine, that you want it to be exactly 1 week. That's fine. For me, I have been a little fluid with it. I wonder if I'll change that as I transition to being here. But, that's sort of my model. And I have seen clients make 6 months of progress in that time. The amount of progress that they would make in 6 months of 45 to 50-minute weekly sessions is equivalent to what happens in those 15 hours. Whoa, right? Like that happens over the course of 2 weeks. So the ripple effects are huge when that much change and that much healing happens that quickly. Like I always talk about this person I had who was taking a leave of absence from work and was able to go back much sooner than he would have if we just kept, week after week after week. And that was huge for him. You may have those clients that you've been working with for months, for maybe years, and you're just not seeing the changes that are possible if you just had more time, right? So clients need them. That's one why. 2, you want more time freedom. This is huge. I fully believe, because I've done it and I've seen it happen for other therapists I've worked with, that you can take 12 weeks off a year when you're offering mostly intensives and equal, if not exceed, your current monthly income, your current 48 weeks a year schedule, okay? So if you take, I feel like a lot of therapists I work with, 4 weeks of vacation is about what I see. You could be taking a week off every month, okay? 12 weeks of vacation, you're working 40 weeks a year and exceed what you're making with your monthly schedule currently. What does that allow you to do? Be present for the important people in your life. Rest, take care of yourself, work on other projects, design a course, record a podcast, be involved in causes, volunteer at your kid's school. You want to be able to get to medical appointments without constantly like having to work around a schedule that is really, really inflexible and stressful. You want to be able to take your dog to the vet when they need to go, whatever it is. You want to take your dog for 2-hour walks during the week. You want 2 weeks off in the winter around the holidays. Maybe you want 4 weeks off in the summer. Whatever it is, intensives allow you to create that kind of schedule without sacrificing income. And I don't think that's possible in the same way with the sort of traditional model of EMDR and practice, private practice. What's another one? Reduce burnout, right? And of course, time freedom is related to this, right? When you have a caseload of, 30 plus clients, all with their different targets, all with their different treatment plans, burnout, all their heavy traumas, everything you're trying to keep in your mind, your head is spinning. Burnout is like inevitable. Okay. I find my head spinning when I have that many people to keep track of. You're kind of rushing from client to client to client, being like, okay, what's going on with this person? Blah, blah, blah. You haven't peed, How is that the best therapist version of you showing up for that person? I don't think so. But, when we have the financial pressure to see that many people, that's what we have to do. But I firmly believe the quality of care is compromised and we know it. And that leads to our burnout because we are not doing the work that we want to be doing. We're not helping people make the changes that they want to be making. And that is burnout city to me. You might start enjoying your work again, of all things, right? Especially when you see phenomenal results that come from intensives. Seeing your clients make massive gains helps to burnout proof you as well. Okay. And number 4, a big one again, financial security, financial freedom, right? You want to be able to support the life that you want, the life that you deserve, the life that you need. Okay. Maybe you want to save up to buy a home, right? Maybe you need to pay for a family member's education. Maybe you want to feel like you can take extra trainings without, cringing when you see the money come out of your bank account. Being a therapist is not cheap, right? We need money just to pay for what it takes to be in our field, to be, staying up to date on trainings, to have the office space we want, whatever. But we need money for that, not to mention for the other life stuff that we have to pay for, right? And, our student loans, they're certainly not paying for themselves. Where's that money coming from? Do you want to be on that income-based repayment for life? I mean, it's doable, but it kind of sucks. Maybe you've been putting off that kitchen renovation for years and you really want to get rid of those 1970s appliances that are just not working anymore. Maybe you want to take a fabulous vacation. Maybe you want to finally stay at an all-inclusive resort. Get those massages. Maybe you want to go to Europe for a month. All of these reasons are valid, okay? It's not greedy. It's not selfish. It's your life. Not to be existentialist and a little morbid. We only get one and it's not super long, okay? Why? And the work we do is so hard and deserves to be compensated in a way that allows us to live with joy and with freedom so that we can be that therapist we want to be, right? Where we're not spending every session being like, oh my God, how am I going to pay this bill? How does that make us present with our clients? It doesn't. And part of what a client is paying for in an intensive is that rested version of you, that version of you who can show up and be fully attuned. Hard to do if you're making $70 a session and you're working 30 sessions a week, right? That's tough. So intensives are the ticket to that life. I really believe it. To that, time freedom, that reduced burnout, those client outcomes, and that financial freedom. How could you not want all those things, right? So then again, the workbook exercises are going to follow up on each of these lessons, okay? And part of the exercises that you're going to do are about your reasons, your whys, and to help you get clear on those to motivate you. And so the next lesson, to help you get clear and motivated, is my personal why story, which some of you have heard some of, but I hope will give you you'll have some aha moments and it'll feel like motivating and you can kind of envision what you want. So that's coming up in lesson 2.